Divinity Original Sin 2 is Baldur's Gate 3 before Baldur's Gate 3, and well, aside from the wars about which one's better, I'm here to say, I don't care. Also, this is my first D&D type RPG game, and what a better way to start playing this game than to fall in the same trap I always do in these kind of RPGs. Hoarding.
I don't know that it's necessarily a hoarding problem, other than it's a lot of clutter and disorganization.
So I immediately devised a plan. If I use telekinesis, which allows me to pick up and move objects with any weight limit, then I can bring my loot everywhere if I just get a chest. And if I have enough loot, then maybe I can rocket propel that chest with my mind at terminal velocity into an enemy's pectoral region to kill them. And when the time is right, I can use all the stored items in a battle and make one fight out of thousands of fights trivial. But that'll never happen if I never start. So I loaded up the game, regrettably made another account to add to the thousands of accounts I already have for random games, programs, websites, and whatever else. And well, it was time to create a character. So, after looking through my options, and in hindsight passing up the perfect option of a small dwarf man, I ended up on a quote-unquote living, not really breathing, but definitely capable skeleton man. And, well, it was time to make him look good. And what looks better than a one-sided comb-over and a very dapper and, might I say, exquisite mustache and beard. Now it's time for the class and talents. I knew this was going to be everything in my experience ahead, and this was my first time playing a game like this, so I really needed to make it good. So naturally, I took all the points out of intelligence and constitution and put them into wits. Why wits, you're probably asking? Well, sit back, you barbaric goblin, and let me tell you. Because crit chance. I now take my 1 point out of summoning, although it would be cool, and I put it into scoundrel because, well, crit damage goes really well with crit chance. And with that, I think my character's ready, minus the fact that I can't change their name, which I spent about 6 minutes trying to find it and change it, but it's fine, it's fine. Well, the name I was gonna go for was Mind Visage Hordegoth, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's just get started. But of course not before the game tells us that not only are we undead and nobody likes us because of it, but we can't heal normally, so we have to bathe in poison to heal. We wake up to a lady telling us that she drugged us, but it can't be so bad. I'm undead, so it's not like I can lose any organs. And then she says we're on a slave ship, and now I realize we're in big trouble.
There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash.
She told us to go upstairs, so naturally I wanted to test out my telekinesis. So I found a barrel and started putting other barrels and boxes inside of that barrel. Don't ask me how that works, but it's just kind of like a Russian doll. When I get all the way upstairs, there was apparently a murder or something. I didn't really care, so I just walked right past it. Toward the front of the ship, there was a lady yelling at the guard saying it was only the first murder.
I'll fucking do it again.
And then she proceeds to turn all 3 guards that she was talking to into a fine red mist and simultaneously turn the ship into a blazing inferno. And naturally, I'm unscathed because plot armor. So I go topside and I'm met with 2 weird slug creatures. Now, I'm not the brightest man alive, so somehow I didn't find a weapon or something that you're probably supposed to get in the tutorial. I just have this little shiv, but I did have these boxes and barrels I was stacking, so I decided to throw one full force at one of the slugs. And to my surprise, what I thought was going to be a Cuphead tutorial situation turned into the greatest discovery ever. Not only did it kill the first enemy in 1 hit, but it did 102 damage, which is 72 damage over the amount that I needed to kill it, which, intentional or non-intentional, that means I'm already OP. So the second slug was greeted with the same fate. A barrel smashed over its head, resulting in another one-shot. But all the barrels inside of that barrel would fly out when it was broken, so I'd had to stack them all up again. So the new plan was to get a storage item without an HP bar so it wouldn't break. Well, at least in theory. Now I went to go save some more of the enslaved people. And it turns out they needed no help at all because I just stood there for 3 turns while they ravaged the attackers. And upon going upstairs, everyone was loaded up and ready to go. And well, of course, like always, the ship crashed. Oh, did I mention the ship was being death hugged by a giant water serpent? Well, yeah, it was. But we arrive on shore just fine, and of course I have my barrel with me, so everything is good in the world. I started walking, and I ended up at what looks like a front gate to a town, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but what I do know is everybody has a red border, so I must be in trouble. An arguing lady immediately turns to me, and out of pure fear, I throw a box at her forehead, and it does a small 410 damage, prompting the game to give her an invincibility tag, meaning that if this lady didn't put on her plot armor that morning, she would be dead. She then proceeded to turn into a dragon and fly away, and well, I thought that would be the end of it, but then her pet teleported right next to me, whispered in my ear unholy things, and then proceeded to stab me through the chest. I loaded again, I walked up and triggered the dialogue, and then I immediately ran away. But apparently, being a rather dapper level 1 undead is far more of a crime than whatever the fuck she did, because everyone decided to turn and try to kill me. But I had a trick up my sleeve. I had a spell called Play Dead, which works extremely well in the right encounters. And, well, this was the perfect time to use it, and after using it, all of them left. So, I proceeded to stand up, kill both of the remaining guards at the front gate with the box that I had, of course, and I quickly realized after killing those 2 guards that there was a ladder about 20 feet away that I could have just climbed up instead. That's nothing to be concerned about. We've made it to the town, and although everybody just attacked me because of my lack of living, I forgot everybody hates me because, well, I'm not living. And might I say, I took it a little personally when it came to the shopkeeper. They kept running away from me when I was just trying to talk to them, and well, every time I tried to take something off their counter, they said they'd fight me. So, I took them up on it. When she put her hands up in retaliation, I swiftly threw my box at her head, and, well, she didn't have anything to say after that. After taking all the loot that she would have sold me, I opened my inventory and realized that I could have just thrown on a hood that's been in my inventory probably the entire time, and probably avoided all of this death and carnage. But that's okay. My box craves loot, and loot it shall get. So I explored the town more, and I found a man by the name of Gawain, and he says they're killing people. The people are disappearing, and they're just not coming back. And he had a plan, but I'd have to join his team. And as the lone wolf I am, I politely declined, and he said it was my loss and stormed away. And the box started talking to me. It said, "Don't let him disrespect you like that." I promptly roundhouse kicked him 2 times and then smashed a barrel over his head. And the townspeople didn't really like that too much, so I played dead. And unlike the last people, a blue lizard seemed to persist. And well, a box claimed another life. Everyone in town was mad at me, and I couldn't play dead anymore because I just used it. But it was only everybody in the lower town. So I just went to the northern side of the town, and nobody seemed to care. And after a few minutes, everybody forgot. I don't think anybody truly cared. I think they just wanted social credit points for trying to help. Nevertheless, I wandered around more, and I found a hatch on the ground, so I climbed down it. Stupid in every way and in every scenario, but I wanted more loot. What I found was an underground hidden, not very well hidden, but hidden fight club. And I signed up right away. And maybe this place was less of a fight club and more of a thief den, because they put me against 4 opponents. Most people would have been begging for survival, but unlike most people, I'm not human. I'm undead. And I see exactly what I've been looking for, waiting for me to grab and take out of this disgusting cave. An ornate chest with no HP bar above its name. So, in a perfect world, this chest wouldn't break when rammed against another person's skull. So, I stuck around, I grabbed the chest, and I threw my heavy box into that chest, and then put that chest into my inventory. And although it appears like nothing is happening, this was the biggest fight in history, because this was the event that started the end of history. So, although I lost that battle, I most definitely won the war, and it's time to move on. And just to explain one thing, I have to carry this chest around, and it's too heavy to put in my inventory, so I have to use the telekinesis to move the chest, then walk, and then move the chest again. At this point, the chest probably weighed about 1,000 pounds, and when I went into this cave, a kid jumped under the chest while I was moving it, mid-air. And by the grace of the devs, and not me, he walks away just fine because of plot armor. Then I move ahead in the dungeon, kill some frogs, come back out, and a lady says to me, "Thank you for killing the frogs. The children will be safer." Then I quickly turned to her and said, the only reason your children are alive right now is because the devs wanted them to be. Oh, did I mention the chest works perfectly? It doesn't break or appear to take damage at all, and it can keep stacking items, in turn giving it more damage for the low price of nothing. And I can easily demonstrate this on these guards. See, there's just a bit of red on the chest. That's not too big of a deal. I'd say a little bit of red is completely fine for a lot of damage. And you might be asking, why did I kill these guards? Well, there was a castle behind them, and I wanted to get in. Maybe there would be a king inside, and I could take the throne. But there wasn't a king. It was not a castle at all. It was a prison. And what was a better way to use a useless prison than to convert its patrons into XP? So I happily skipped down the hallway, swinging my chest back and forth like a drunk driver on the highway, and well, nobody seemed to care. And that is another reason why I never want to go to prison. At the end of the prison, there was a boy that was being kidnapped. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I quickly crushed the attackers. The boy took us away from the island we were on, and we were in a whole new world to explore. The boy gave us some instructions so him and his friends could help, and of course I didn't listen and I walked away and found a dungeon. Upon entering, there was a guy that was mind controlling people and making weird flesh monsters, so I decided to give them all a fast pass of sorts to their next reroll. After finishing the fight, I looted an item called the Face Ripper, so naturally I ripped off the faces of the humans in the room, and well, now I can make human faces so people in towns don't get angry anymore. Not too long after, I got ambushed by a Void-Woken Deep Dweller, and after taunting me by talking to me in my own head, and making me think I had schizophrenia, soon after it decided to attack me, and it did that by teleporting right next to me, smacking me, and to that, I say, you fucked up. Big time. He said he would await for me at the healing waters, and I responded by throwing an ornate chest at his head, and to say the least, he exploded. I'm not sure how high class of an enemy the Void-Woken was, but I'm starting to feel pretty invincible with all these confident enemies I'm beating. The Void-Woken and that lady at the gate. Now I think it's time to find a formidable opponent that won't be saved by plot armor. And after extensive walking, I found a cave that was filled with traps, and at the end there was a lady that tried to seduce me, and although I tried as hard as I possibly could to deny her, she just wouldn't take a hint. And might I say, this was the worst dialogue I have ever had to read.
Hear a low hum, getting louder. Before you realize what's happening, winged insects pour from her throat down yours. They ricochet around your mouth, a wet, buzzing mass, more by the second. Suddenly, all at once, they start stinging you from inside.
So, it was time to kill her. This would be the opponent. The thing I've been waiting for. I was growing in power, all for this moment. And I one-shot her. Disappointed, it's time to clear the room and move on, and I get one-shot. And after doing the same thing over and over and over, not knowing what I'm dying to, I finally realize I am dying to me. The zombies in this room happen to have a reflective shield, and I do so much damage that when I hit them, killing them instantly, I spontaneously combust myself. So promptly, I hit them with the best basketball moves I learned in Skeleton High, and well, I run out of there as fast as physically possible. And as I stand outside with my box full of unused items, I realize maybe this is a problem. I will forever be carrying items I will never use, but maybe, just maybe, hoarding is not the problem. I've yet to find an enemy that can get hit by my hoarding problem and survive. And with that, my Envisaged Horde Goth's adventure is over. And, well, will he ever find an enemy that can beat his hoarding problem? Or maybe find a spell that can cure his rampant schizophrenia?
Must have schizophrenia because I'm the realest in the room.
Oh my god.
And random anger and violence problems?
You fucking kids! I've got places to be!
Well, probably not. But in any regard, thank you for watching the video, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next one.